share my screen here. I do want to continue all of that. There we go. So I just want to show some pictures real quick. That's not where I want to be. There we go. So there's the family. There's Monica, my better half on your left. Richie, obviously, is the child in the middle, an awesome kid. And me there on the right. There you go. This here are our pups. This is a common configuration you will find them in. Nova, the smaller one that looks like a little miniature German Shepherd, is our new dog. She's just about a year old, and she's absolutely obsessed with Luna, who's a boxer lab there in the front, who's probably the sweetest dog ever. I'm sure other people are biased, but I think mine is. And then here's a mix of our favorite activities. This was a beach day in Oregon where we actually camped on the beach with good friends of ours who also have a van again. This was a bucket list item for me to camp on a beach and drive my vehicle through the waves. And yes, I rinsed the undercarriage of my vehicle afterwards because it's a 1986 Vanagon and I don't want it to rust out. So there you go. There's us having a lot of fun. Earlier, was that late summer is when we did that. So today I want to talk to you and hopefully educate you a bit about SEO. So actually, let me stop sharing screen for a minute. I will go back to that. So who here knows what SEO is? Feel free just to like unmute and blurt out and inform me or share what SEO is.
Search engine optimization, I believe.
That is correct, Leo. Well done, sir, for 300 points. So search engine optimization. What does that mean, though? What does that mean? So search engines are really what the main search engine we think about is Google. Google is really what 90% of people use. 90% of searches are done on Google. So it's really the place to focus your effort, energy, and so forth when doing search engine optimization. And how do you do search engine optimization? You're thinking in your head possibly right now. There's many ways to do it. It's kind of, it's a little convoluted in many ways, but there's a lot of things we do know that we can apply. The main thing, or one thing to note, is that Google uses over 200 data points to create an algorithm to then index the internet. So that means when you go in and you type something in Google to look it up, Google will then have this database that it's scanned and searched through all these websites to then index them in an order that it feels it is giving you the best result you could possibly have at the top. There's some ways to work around that. We'll talk about that in a minute. But that's essentially what it's doing. You put in roofer, which we'll do right now. Let me go back to sharing my screen. Let's say you search for, oh, here, let me put it in the Google bar. You search for roofer and you get results via what Google thinks you might want to know. Google's like, all it's trying to do is provide the best experience for you. So you keep using Google and it stays the powerhouse that it is. So one thing Google think you might be curious about, like, what is a roofer? So it puts the information over there on the right. It's not super helpful for our business, but it's kind of a neat little thing they do. They also pull up right here. This is a new thing that they're starting to do, these top 3 boxes that are sponsored ads. So this is something just to pay attention to for your own experience when you're out there searching. If you see this little ad element right here, that means that they have literally paid to be there. This is also something to take note of when you are in the process of refreshing your website or potentially building a new website, is doing the searches that you think people might be doing to find your business and seeing what the competition's like. So if there are a lot of ads, you know, if you really want to show up at the top, you might need to be spending some monthly money to be there. But I typically focus on organic elements. One other thing I want to throw out there real quick is that I am not an SEO expert. There are people that literally all they do in their business is SEO. That's all they do. And I do work with some of these people and it's very, very helpful. But I do know enough to help my clients quite often increase their rankings through just paying more attention to their website and reevaluating how they're utilizing their website. So just wanted to disclose that. The next area that Google is putting out there is this map feature, which is really, really nice. It is a really convenient way to see who is near you that might be a roofer. So if you are looking for a service or a business in your area, this is a great place to go, and many people go here quite often. The way these get ranked is also through some ad money, but also through Google reviews. As you'll see here, there we go. The top person on this display here has 58 Google reviews. So if you do want to rank better on the map feature on Google, work on getting your Google reviews up. That will be a big component for that. The next thing Google is showing you is people also asked for. The reason Google started doing this a couple of years ago is that, let me see here, let me look at my numbers. Fewer than 10% of people actually click to page 2 when doing a Google search. That means quite often when people do a Google search and then they don't see a result on this first page that feels like it fits what they're looking for, they actually reword their search. So Google started putting this in. People also asked for, what do roofers do? Do roofers make good money? These are things that Google thinks you might want to have the answer to instead of what you put in the Google search. So it puts it there. And then we get to what I feel is really kind of the more important zone. The map is actually very important as well. But the next important zone is these are the organic results for roofers. This is the people that have actually just put money into building their website in an appropriate way that will create a high ranking on Google. Wikipedia is number 1 because it's just the term roofer and it's giving us the information. Also, Google put it up there because since I just literally put in the word roofer, it thinks I might just want to know what a roofer is. If I put roofer near me, I probably wouldn't get that Wikipedia response there. The next is Yelp. Yelp dominates this game quite often. Yelp can dominate this game because they can use keywords on their website in a much more aggressive manner than any of us could with our websites without being rude. Like if you were a roofer and you just put, I'm a roofer, I like roofing. Roofing's really great. I roof homes in Sonoma County. Sonoma County is where I roof homes. It would be gibberish. It wouldn't come across well. And Google would probably also scan it and think it's probably some sort of spam approach and not rank it well. Whereas Yelp, since it's talking about all the different roofing companies in the area, can utilize this verbiage over and over again in a really great way to increase their rankings. But then we get into the other, well, so Indeed, so that's jobs. So again, that's another site that's going to have multiple roofer terms without actually being a contractor. And then the BBC, you see over and over again, these are all ways that these sites aren't actually providing businesses for roofers. So let's try this. Let's go roofer near me. So we get the ads once again. Then we get the map feature once again. And then now we'll probably get a couple of the top 10s and Yelp. Let's see if someone actually, Thumbtack, roofers near me. So there is actually, and then followed by ads at the bottom. So there's no company that ranks high enough on here because of all these other companies that are doing this. So yeah, so let's try something else. Let's try accountant real quick. If I could type. Still can't type. There we go. Google is smart enough to correct my spelling. It's quite often quite terrible. There we go. So there is a CPA that pops up. So the reason they popped up is that they have done many of the different things that Google thinks is important for them to show up. So just want to go over some of those things real quick for you to keep in mind. It's using proper keywords like we spoke about earlier, the terms that people could be searching for on the internet. Another really important thing is keeping people on your site for a long amount of time or a reasonable amount of time. If people go to your site and then bounce off of it, Google then has the impression that that site isn't providing good value. That is one of the reasons that I've been promoting doing video for your business, because then people consume the video and they stay on your website for a longer period of time. Another thing you can do is have backlinks to your site, and oh, that's my time. And by doing that, you'll have people linking to it, which will bring attention as well. I hope that gave you some good information on how SEO works. It's a very, very, very little bit of it. It's a huge, huge realm, but it should give you some better perspective of maybe how to reevaluate your website for SEO currently. Thank you.